morning, everyone, and welcome to the Englewood Cliffs Mayor and Council Caucus Meeting. Today is April 17, 2019. It's 6:36 p.m. I call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, get a roll call, please.
Mayor Kranjak,
Here.
Councilperson Wu.
Here.
Song will be joining us at 8 p.m. Sabari. Here. Park. Here. Aversa.
Here.
O. Here. Via phone. For attorney is Jason
Bonica.
And municipal clerk.
Okay, thank you. And I want to welcome Jason Bonica to our meeting. He's filling in for Joe Marinello this evening. Welcome. You're welcome. Madam Clerk, would you please read the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon completion of typing and proofreading of the file of municipal clerk.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to go into closed session. We have some things to take care of this evening. We have a motion to do that. All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the appropriate language to go into closed session? Victoria, what we'll do is we'll reconnect you after we get out.
Okay. Resolution 19107. Whereas the Mayor and Council of Borough of Englewood Cliffs have deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain confidential matters, whereas the minutes of the closed session were made confidential as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act and shall be released when there is no further need for confidentiality as authorized by the Borough Attorney. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs will go into closed session for the following matters as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act and JSA 10:4-12. Pending litigation, docket number BERL 6119-15, affordable housing. Docket BERL 908817, builders suit to challenge planning board denial. And BERL 6918, builders remedy lawsuit. T-Land, 800 Sylvan Avenue, Block 910, Lot 1. Personnel matters and collective bargaining agreement, police personnel, collective bargaining agreement, PBA, USWU negotiations. And the final item is purchase, lease, or acquisition of real property, PSE&G substation.
Okay, thank you. So I think it's important to note for the public that as mayor, I have not had, although I asked for an update on the affordable housing situation. I have not had an update since March 31st, 2019. Today, as you know, is April 17, 2019. So I've been excluded from that process as well, although you know what my views are pretty clearly by now. I've also been excluded from police personnel. I don't have any access to what's going on there. Collective bargaining agreement, same there. I don't know what's going on there. And also USWU negotiations. So I look forward to going to closed session because I too want to find out what's going on. Thank you. A motion to come out of closed session, please. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Gloria, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome back. So we under the correspondence to regular meeting, and the public portion now. And a motion to come out.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is anyone from the public who wishes to be heard? Say welcome to the registration meeting. I'll recognize you and come up to the microphone and state your name and address.
Mary Roche, 12 Irving Avenue. It's a new microphone. Sounds good.
You sound good.
I know. Well, it looks like a new microphone. I know at the present time there should be negotiations for a new police contract. And I know Councilman Aversa was on the police committee and negotiated the last police contract, which was for 5 years. I'm very concerned about some of the items in the contract, and to look at the way the benefits are paid upon retirement. 30 sick days per year. It seems everybody retires with 150 booked sick days to get paid for. Terminal leave, 4 months, 6 months of paid salary, full salary. And all these benefits are paid at the rate they are earning at the time of their retirement, not at the rate they earned the benefit. If they had a sick day that they didn't use back when they were patrolmen, they don't get paid at the rate that they were paid at the time they earned that benefit. They get paid at the rate that they are earning currently now. And these payouts are exorbitant. And there needs to be some endeavor made by the police committee to try to reduce some of these benefits, because it's just too much. And the people of the town cannot continue to afford all this money being paid out. Between Chiaffi and Regan, you're talking $1 million. They're the two highest paid retirement benefit packages that have been paid out by this town. And this is going to continue. It cannot continue for the taxpayers. Okay? And you have to make an effort to reduce some of these things. If these officers get 30 sick days and they don't use them, they don't need them. They don't need 30 sick days a year. Maybe you can have some type of a clause where they have a catastrophic event or illness that they need the days, they can have them, but they can't bank them, they can't cash them out. You know, you really have to try to think about this and do something better for the taxpayers, because right now, all these contracts do is pad the pockets of the police officers. Thank you.
Lauren Eastwood, 4 Willow Drive. I also think you need to address the vacation days, the personal days, all of the other ancillary days. I worked in the private sector. At no time in the private sector was I allowed to carry vacation days, let alone cash them out at retirement. And I didn't get a pension in the private sector like public sector employees do. I had to save with my 401k. These payouts at retirement are insane. You just approved 2 payouts totaling over $1 million in a town where the budget's about $17 million. These payouts are insane. These vacation allowances, personal allowances, scheduled days, days, the other days are insane. These people are making huge numbers. They're making more than the average family in Englewood Cliffs, a lot of them. They're getting benefits that are not available in the private sector, on top of these huge salaries. And it is time that the benefit package, particularly the retirement payments, be brought into line with their salaries. If you are getting extraordinarily generous salaries, you should be getting relatively paltry benefits, not extraordinarily generous salaries and insanely generous benefits. You know, and if they don't like it, let them go get a job in the private sector and see what the real world looks like.
Anybody else?
Karen McMorrow, 49 7th Street. Just want to ask, is anything being added to the agenda? Okay, thank you. I see 2 appointments are on here. One is for the building code, construction code official and zoning code enforcement. Who recommended only 4 hours a week would be sufficient? Whose decision was that?
The person that we had before was approved at 3 hours, and it's sufficient.
That's not what I remember. I was told it was not sufficient, and I know I worked on that with you, and I know how many hours it was.
Actually, this was something, excuse me, I'm sorry, this was something that you worked out with Mrs. Dunn. I don't think it's...
Actually, I worked on this with you in 2016 first.
Not that
It is, I'm not going to go back and forth. We did. Just saying, from what I...
Not the position.
Okay. Just so you know, from past experience, I hope you're going to do it on a temporary basis so we don't get locked into something. I personally don't believe 4 hours a week is sufficient, and I think you're making a mistake. That's number one. Number two, on the certified tax assessor, the resolution doesn't say how many hours, and one of the big things with George Rego was we only had him for 2 hours a week, and that wasn't sufficient. So what did you negotiate on this?
On that one, the same is 2 hours in the office and available by appointment as needed. And she will be out of the field.
Okay.
She's amenable to more than 2 hours.
Okay, well, then, if she is, then I would hope that that goes into her contract, because, again, the 2 hours was not sufficient. So, and we were stuck with George Rego's hours, because we inherited them, we couldn't change them. So why wouldn't, I would hope up front, you're going to negotiate 4 hours in the office, not by appointment. That was a problem you ran into, but I would hope you learned by your mistakes.
I spoke with her. She's amenable to...
Well, then, I would hope you're going to put it into the resolution, because unless it's in the resolution, once you hire them, you can't change it. Please learn from your past mistakes and don't do it again. You have a comment, Mr. Barr? Okay. Next, you're the finance chair, right? I've been checking, we haven't had one budget meeting yet. We're at the end of April. It's unheard of to not have had budget meetings yet. When are you having budget meeting? When? It's, oh, excuse me, I just don't want to waste my 5 minutes after I'm done, Mayor. You can, comment, if I may. I don't want to lose my time. But it's really late. Every year it started in May. Okay, well.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on every year. I don't believe it's in it. Okay, okay.
It's all around council, so we're working on it.
Okay, that's really rude. I'm still a resident, and I have a right to ask the question, and I'm sorry if you're not possibly performing the way you should, and that's an issue, but we should have budget meetings by now. And they are budget meetings of the whole. We're at the end of April.
Thank you for your comments.
Last, I'm going to quote Ms. Sabari here in this Eye on the Cliffs paper, that her former associate Karen Geiger wrote of a paper that she used to be a part of. On March 20th, Councilman Sabari, the Affordable Housing Committee chairperson, stated the December 10, 2018 Affordable Housing Plan submitted to the court is not sufficient to meet the borough's realistic affordable housing obligation. Ms. Sabari, Russ Perino and I repeatedly offered our assistance to you, and as a newcomer, it was clear you had no understanding of what you were doing, and you were lacking the knowledge to do what was needed to put this borough in its best position. And I'm really disappointed in your inability to work with others in the best interests of this town and put your partisanship, not able to put it aside, because you are harming the borough. You have repeatedly made statements from that dais, not in the best interests of this borough with affordable housing. And if anything goes wrong, it will be laying at your footsteps. Thank you.
I just want to say you're doing a great job. I disagree with everything that Carolyn Morrow is saying right now. Okay?
I'm working very hard.
Yes, you are.
Anyone else looking here? No motion to close the public. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any council member want to discuss anything else on the agenda now? Or adjourn? A motion to adjourn. Second. Okay.
Aye.
We'll be starting our regular meeting at 8 p.m.
Lori, I'm taking you off now. Call back. doing.